In this video, I'll share with you 6 factors that make up your credit score and tips that help me consistently maintain my credit score and reach as high as 829. Hi, success seekers of the world. My name is Tarun Kailash and welcome to my channel Successify Life, where I share with you my actionable tips on how to lead a healthy, wealthy, and successful life. Before we dive deeper into the topic, may I request you to do something that does not cost or does not impact your credit score? And yes, you guessed it right. It's smashing the subscribe button, and but that does help me to get the blessings of the YouTube lords and spread this channel to more and more people. So thank you. Stay with me till the end, and I promise to share with you a personal tip that I follow, which helped me certainly to stay on top of my credit score. So first of all, what is a credit score? And we all know about it, but sometimes it becomes so hard to understand it, and I thought I'll draw an analogy with SAT score. Similar to how a SAT score is an indication of academic competency, or at least the colleges look at it as an indication of academic competency, a credit score is viewed by the lenders as an indication of one's financial competency. Now, I understand this does not go with Dave Ramsey's thought process, but we do have to also consider that not all of us may have enough cash to prove to our lenders, and we once in a while or most of the time do need credit. And at that point in time, getting a credit without having a good credit score is hard or almost very difficult. There are some lenders who do give you credit without any credit score, but they are very far and few. Similar to how having a higher SAT score helps you get into better colleges, having a higher credit score helps you get the best interest rates or the lower interest rates, and you save a lot of money in the longer term when you get mortgages for 30 years and such. Similarly, if you have a high credit score, it helps you get approved for credit cards more easily. Sometimes, even when you rent a home, they look at your credit score, and that credit score again establishes the trust in your landlord or the apartment owners that this person is someone who can really pay off their rents in time. So, let's jump right into the various factors that impact the credit score. And factor number one is on time payment. Similar to how submitting your homework in time helps you get a better GPA or get better chances of getting admission to best colleges, paying off all your bills in time definitely has a huge and the biggest impact on getting a good credit score. So it's as simple as making sure that you are able to pay off your credit cards or pay off your loans or pay off your utility bills in time. And one of the things that you can do is please schedule your auto pay if you prefer paying online, or make sure that you have reminders set up on your calendars. A general thumb rule is pay off all your bills on first of the month so you don't forget it. The second factor, which is also very high impacting, is how much credit utilization are you doing. What it means is that if you have a credit limit of say 10,000, then out of those 10,000 that's available for you, the creditors or the lenders, they want to look at that how least are you using that credit. Let me make it a little simpler for you. Say if you have 5 credit cards and you have a credit limit of about 10,000 on each, which is a total of 50,000 credit limit. What the creditors want to see is that you spend the least amount that you can. So staying under 30%, so in this case 30% of 50,000 is 15,000. So staying under 15,000 will certainly be a good indication that you use your credit responsibly, and it will help you lead to a better credit score. So one tip to achieve this is that to be very closely monitoring how much are you using your credit card. Say if you have achieved all your 30% that you should be to maintain a good credit score, after that you can start using your debit card, or better still if you can use your good old cash. Remember, our forefathers, they didn't have credit card in those days. In fact, this whole system of credit score was not there. But wasn't it a more easier world? I don't mean to say that we don't have to be keeping pace with the modern times, but at the same time crossing the credit limit that you have or utilizing a good part of it will certainly not go very well with your credit score. So let's talk of the third factor. So the third factor is not as influential in determining your credit score, but yet again is somewhat important, and that is the average age of the credit. What it means is that if you have several credit accounts open. For example, you have several credit cards that you have certain mortgage loans that you have. Then what they do is that they count that till how many years or how many months those credit lines have been open, and then they come up with the average time for which your credit lines have been open, including the mortgage loans. And the higher the time that you have the credit for, the better it is. So the tip for this is, once you get eligible for getting credit, which is the age of 18, even though you do not use, it's up to you, but definitely make sure that you definitely get a credit card. If you have an open credit card, although you do not use it, a good idea is not to close it. What it does is that it extends the time for which you had the credit open, and that helps with increasing your credit score. The fourth factor is the total number of credit accounts. Now this kind of contradicts the average age of credit, and if you every now and then start opening a new credit card account, this will kind of increase the number of credit lines that you have, but at the same time the average age for which you're holding your credit lines gets impacted. So you have to be very careful. However, the creditors wants to see that you are responsible, you have a lot of credit lines open, yet you are able to manage those and not miss any payment, leveraging your best credit utilization. So again, a tip on this is, try not to closing your account if they are already open, and extend it to the longest possible. But at the same time, if you just have one credit card, actually does not help much. So what you can do is that there are several different credit cards which are focused on several different types of cashback. So leverage those, though that's free money. However, make sure that you pay off all of those in time. For example, there are credit cards which focus on everyday purchases and probably give you a 1.5% cashback. There are other credit cards which are very focused toward travels. There are people who use these credit cards in an intelligent way such that they almost get all their travel covered using those credit cards. You don't have to close those accounts again, but at the same time get the best benefit of it. Those bonus points that they offer are really really useful, and it's just money lying on the table. So the only fact that I would certainly would want to stress is paying off all your credit card balances in time. Personally, in my case, I am one of those where my credit score can be even better, which is currently 829, but I am trying to reach, if I can reach the number of 850, which is the highest credit score possible. And one of the things for me to reach 850, the recommendation is to get yet another card. And here I'm not sponsoring this card, but I'm just sharing with you that I have applied for Chase Freedom Unlimited card. The reason is it's giving quite a bit of cash bonus back, and at the same time it is giving for 1 year about 5% cashback on grocery, which happens to be one of the biggest expense that I incur month by month. So I'll let you know once I get this card. I'll monitor for a couple months and I'll see if my credit score indeed increased, and I'll come back and share with you people how it impacted my credit score. So that's a good test, even I'm waiting to check on it. So the fifth factor is the credit inquiries. It does not have a high impact though, but it stays on your credit report for a long time. So whenever you apply for a credit card, or whenever you apply for a mortgage loan or a auto or a home insurance, every time there is a hard pull that your all these service providers do to give you a loan or a policy, it does impact your credit score negatively. So one good idea to avoid this is that if you apply for a loan, a credit card, or a homeowner insurance, all of these things where there is a hard pull, try to do this within a month or two, in which case the credit scoring agencies, they lump it together and they don't consider it as a separate reason for you to trying to get to more and more credit. So try not to apply for credit cards too often, or try to bundle all your credit applications or mortgage loans together in a short within a short duration, such that you can avoid too many negative points coming because of these hard credit inquiries. And the last point, which is the factor number 6, is derogatory remarks on your credit score. What it means is that whenever you aren't able to pay your bills in time, if there is a collection letter, remember those pink letters that come whenever your home is foreclosed, or if there is a repossession that happening, in all these cases that definitely counts negative to your credit score. And in all best possibilities, you should be checking your credit report at least once in a year, and the moment you see something untoward, try to get it fixed. The other thing is it can happen because of your identity theft, so make sure that you rip off all your bills or use a shredder. Also, avoid getting scammed online. Any phishing attempts or anything that looks very spammy, don't click those links and don't let your ID or identity being stolen. That will certainly help a lot. So if you are with me up until now, thank you. And here is a bonus tip that I promised. I know that the biggest impact on your credit score is your payment on time, and for that I have set up auto pay for each of the things that I pay bills for, and I pay my loans also via auto pay. However, one thing which I do not do is turn on the paperless billing. So not turning on the paperless billing helps me get those bills in my snail mail, and it's a chance for me to review every month that I'm on track with my financial goal. And the second thing that it does is that if some of the promotional offers are over and I'm started getting to the regular payment offers or package for, say for example, for internet or for my cellular bills, that helps me keep a tab on it, in which case I call my providers to check with them if they have any new promotions and get my bills back to a lower value. So do let me know your feedback of what you think, how this video was. There are 3 more videos on this channel. Subscribe to this channel for more actionable tips on how to lead a healthy, wealthy and successful life. With that said, hope you found this video useful. Please leave a comment at the bottom. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, stay successful, stay charged. Thank you.